Title: My girlfriend got pregnant with another man and left me while I was deployed in another country. Years later, she came back asking me to help her get away from him. Start: I didn't answer the first 3 messages, didn't even glance at the fourth. But the fifth? The fifth was impossible to ignore. I need your help. He's dangerous. Please. Her name flashed on my screen, familiar and taunting. Sarah. My Sarah. The woman who had left me bleeding and alone while I was halfway across the world, serving in a country that smelled like smoke and fear. I remember the day she told me she was pregnant. She was glowing, smiling with a warmth I thought was only ours. But there was no we. Not really. The baby wasn't mine, and she never had the decency to tell me. Instead, she vanished, leaving me letters I never received because my unit had strict censorship. By the time I returned, she was gone. She had moved on. Or so I thought. I remember the apartment where we'd first kissed. The smell of her perfume still lingered in my mind. The way her hair fell over her shoulder when she laughed. I was naive, blind. I believed in forever. Now, forever was a word I spat with cold precision. The discovery wasn't cinematic. No dramatic confrontation, no sudden revelation. Just a chance encounter years later, scrolling through social media. A photo of her hand in another man's. Her belly unmistakably round. That was it. Confirmation. The betrayal cut deep, a surgical strike through my chest. But pain is useful if wielded correctly. I let it settle, like a poison slowly brewing in the shadows. I didn't rage. I planned. I watched from the distance, silent, invisible. I learned their routines. I traced bank accounts. I followed patterns. She was reckless, laughing too loudly, leaving digital footprints like breadcrumbs. And he? Arrogant, confident, thinking power lay in possession. I smiled, quietly, while the gears in my mind began to grind. Every detail mattered. Surveillance, small bribes, quiet inquiries. Evidence collected without a flicker of detection. Their secrets were all there, like gifts wrapped in plain paper. I cataloged, organized, waited for the perfect sequence. Revenge is a symphony. You can't rush the crescendo. Then she returned. Boldly, stupidly, and desperate. Walking into my life as if nothing had happened, as if years of absence erased betrayal. I let her speak first. I let her beg. He's dangerous, she said. Dangerous. Funny. She didn't realize she'd walked into a more dangerous game than she'd ever imagined. I nodded, calm, measured, letting the silence hang heavy between us. Every word she spoke was a hammer striking the cold steel of my patience. I set the trap in motion. First, the subtle legal moves. Discreet calls to his creditors, minor audits, nothing traceable. Then the financial squeeze. He had power, but it was brittle. Everything we worked on, every structure I observed, I bent until it cracked. And cracks have a way of spreading. Then came the social maneuvering. I contacted people he valued, spreading carefully curated truths. Rumors with fingerprints that couldn't be traced, yet convincing enough to cause fractures. Friends, colleagues, allies. He thought he could manipulate them as he manipulated her. But I was a ghost, a shadow he never saw. And finally, the confrontation. Not loud, not messy, just precise. I invited them both to a dinner under the guise of a truce, a neutral territory. Candles flickered, wine breathed in the room, shadows dancing on walls. She smiled nervously, he laughed too loudly, the armor of arrogance. I spoke softly, almost kindly. Then I let the evidence speak. A tablet slid onto the table. Photos, messages, financial irregularities, all irrefutable. His face went white, her eyes widened. I didn't yell, I didn't cry. I watched as power shifted. He sputtered, tried to justify, to manipulate, but everyone saw it. I had orchestrated it perfectly, the downfall public enough to humiliate, private enough to devastate. She gasped, realizing her pleas wouldn't save him. He turned to me, fury in his eyes, but I was untouchable. Untouchable because I had never acted on impulse. I had always been 3 steps ahead. The aftermath was quiet. He vanished from social circles, legal troubles mounting like a slow avalanche. She tried to charm me, apologize, explain, but I only smiled. The truth is liberating when it lands perfectly, and the satisfaction of seeing a life built on lies unravel is intoxicating. Now I sit alone, the city lights bleeding through the blinds. I think of her, think of him, and think of the years I lost to blind trust. But I am free, not because they fell, but because I controlled the narrative. I am the storm they never saw coming. I am calm. I am victorious. I don't feel joy. I feel clarity. Cold, sharp clarity. Justice isn't messy, it's surgical, and I wield it with precision. She may have thought she could manipulate me again, but she was wrong. The past is a tool, a weapon, and I am its master. I am not haunted by betrayal. I am defined by how I responded. And now, as I pour myself a drink and let the night settle, I know this: the tables have turned, the power restored. I am untouchable, unbroken. She is a whisper in the echoes of a carefully executed plan. He is gone, reduced to nothing more than an example. I lean back, feeling the weight of years lift from my shoulders. Revenge isn't about anger. It's about intelligence, patience, and timing. And I am its embodiment.